Good afternoon. I've been asked countless times to share a little how to grade knowledge. I've re- resisted doing that because it would probably take, I don't know, 24 episode box set to give you the basics. But I'm going to attempt to start, regardless, with a little overview. There's no substitute for having hundreds and thousands of coins looked at over the years under the proper light source in one of these, because without it you can't even begin to apply the technical terms to figure out how to grade a raw coin. The vast majority of people who can grade coins had those benefits, and they pretty much focused on the most disinteresting series, in my opinion, which is in U.S. coins, which is Morgan dollars. Maybe they did Ike dollars. Maybe they used half dollars. The reason for that is because there's so much more coin surface that you can see minor imperfections with no more than a 3 or 8x loop. I had a coin shop, and I had a coin shop owner that would flip coins to me day in and day out and say, "What do you grade it?" And I'd say, a couple dozen coins. We do Washington quarters, and I'd say MS64. He said, "No, it's probably a 2." I'd say MS63. He said, "No, it's a slider AU58." And then he'd show me what I missed. There's also reference books that I had to have because he couldn't take time from his day all the time to show me everything that he already knew. Here's one. Those are the standards. It's a dry read, but you got to have it. This is another one. One of the best books ever written to discuss the terminology used in grading. When I get around to Lincoln Sense at some future lesson, this is a must-have book. What are the 4 major characteristics criteria for grading raw coins? And we're talking mint state or about uncirculated coins, people. I'm not going to fool around with circulated coins. Anybody can grab a photo grade book and compare how much wear is on the coin. That's easy. We're talking mint state coins or almost mint state coins. The nuances between an MS60 ugly uncirculated coin and a decent choice brilliant uncirculated 63, or a near gem nearly MS65, which would be a 64 coin, or a gem BU65, or even better. What are the grading criteria? What are the 4 major? Somebody yell 4. Is there a golf ball? Yeah. What are the 4? You've got luster, which is probably the most important. There's a term called full cartwheel mint luster. See if I can show you. If I tilt that back and forth, do you see like the luster going in what they call the cartwheel effect? That's a proof coin, but I'm sure it's got full cartwheel mint luster. There's a mint state coin. See, it's hard to explain in words. Luster is one of the most important criteria. You have bag marks, contact marks, and whether they're in the prime focal area of the coin's design or outside of the prime focal area. Prime focal area, each coin design has a prime focal area, which is where your eye is drawn. This book actually shows you the prime focal area of every U.S. coin series. I can't find it. But it's kind of like common sense. Here we go. Prime focal area of a coin. Actually, that's not it. If the bag marks are outside the prime focal area, it doesn't impact the grade as severely as bag marks that are within the prime focal area. For a Morgan dollar, the prime focal area of the coin Liberty's looking this direction, so your eye's drawn that way. If the bag marks are behind her head, they're not in the prime focal area. Lincoln sense, same way. It's out in front of Lincoln's nose and on the reverse anywhere in that center field. I'm not going to dig deep into prime focal area, but its grading criteria too is, are there bag marks lacking? If they have less bag marks, obviously it could be a higher grade. All right, I'd beat that to death for now. So you have luster or lack thereof. You have bag marks, location or lack thereof. You have the strength of the strike. This is one of the most difficult concepts because when you get more knowledgeable in grading, some people often mistake a weak strike for actual wear. There's dates out there where the coins were always struck from worn dies, and only a few examples will ever have all the detail. That's not a circulated coin. That's a weakly struck mint state coin. It really happens in the era during the Great Depression in many coin series is because the mint was using dies over and over, overusing them. They weren't retiring the striking dies when they should have been. It was a cost-saving measure. How will you know what dates are weakly struck? You get this book. It gives you an overview by coin series of which dates are almost always weakly struck. I'll read something. Lincoln Cents, one of the most popular coin series. At the back of the section on how to grade Lincoln Cents, they have notes. Many of the early dates of Lincoln Cents were weakly struck on the obverse and or the reverse, especially the following dates: 11D, 14D, 17D, 18D, NS, 21, 21S, 22D, 23, Philadelphia, 23S, 24, Philadelphia, 24S, 25, Denver, NS, San Francisco, 26S, 27 DNS, 28S, 29 DNS, 30S, 35 DNS. I probably have those memorized. But it helps because if you get one of those coins and you're trying to determine if it's a good strike, well, if you're trying to determine the difference whether it's a weak strike mint state coin or actual friction that's starting to form, which would be no longer a mint state coin, you need that kind of information. For Lincoln Cents, here's another great book for that. The good Dr. Saul Taylor started looking at Lincoln Cents in the 30s. He broke them down by date. That nails 3 of the 4 down. So what's the 4th grading criteria? It's kind of a combination of all the rest. That would be the overall eye appeal. If it's got a good strike, if it's got full cartwheel mint luster, and it's got very few bag marks, the overall eye appeal is probably exceptional. What if it's got a weak strike, but it's got few bag marks and great luster? Probably above average eye appeal. What if it's got subdued dull luster like this one? This is a mint state coin, I'm convinced. Look how dull it is. The luster is unremarkable. It's below average. Hardly any bag marks. It's got a full strike. But the overall eye appeal is not good because it looks ugly. If there's a whole lot of bag marks, even though it's a fully struck coin, your eye is going to see those bag marks and you're going to say, man, that overall eye appeal sucks. This is actually a science and not a guess. Books like that will tell you how to differentiate between an MS62 and 64 coin based on how you perceive those 4 criteria. A shortcoming in one grading criteria can be overcome by an exceptional quality in another grading criteria. Now, you see how involved this really is? This is an overview. Let me show you 6 Lincoln Cents that are going out the door today. These are all mint state. We're not going to deal with the qualifier on color. But those first 5 coins are at least 63 in quality. Very few bag marks, full strikes, obverse and reverse. Look at the luster. See the luster? Now the 6th one down there in the corner, it has no luster whatsoever. I don't think it's been doctored. I just think it was mishandled maybe over the years, wasn't stored properly, or just sucked when it came off the dies. Maybe the alloy mix wasn't quite good and the luster was never there. That's a 10-minute lesson. By the way, those coins are sold, and thanks for watching this attempted overview of the 4 grading criteria that everyone needs to master. I'll post a paragraph or 2 on each for those of you who really do want to learn. Have a nice day.